Hello, this is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button for me. It really helps out the algorithm. Today's video is regarding Stephan Sterns, or however the hell you pronounce his name, don't really care. Today's video is regarding, did Stephan Sterns make money off of the CSAM material that he created with Madeline Soto? Now we know that Stephan Sterns has been a sexual deviant for most of his life, if not all of it. A lot of people are using the excuse that he was hit by a car when he was younger, but Stephan Sterns obviously knew what he was doing was wrong. That's why he took measures to hide what he was doing. Now we've heard in interviews with Stephan Sterns' friends that I put out months ago that Stephan Sterns, when he was younger, thought that if you put, he would collect his semen in vials and he could bring it to school and give it to the girls to ingest somehow, and they would become pregnant. And he said he actually tried doing that. Then there was another instance where he was over at his friend's house and he was filming that friend's mom clandestinely, and the father of the friend came out and confronted him, even had a gun drawn on him because they didn't know who he was, and it turns out it was Stephan Sterns. And then we hear when Stephan Sterns is a younger adult living with some roommates, he filmed one of the roommates' girlfriend in the bedroom, or even I think it might have been the bathroom or bedroom. It doesn't really matter where, but he filmed her without her permission, and he was storing the information out on an internal server inside the house. Now that's the instance where one of the roommates claims that Stephan Sterns' mom paid off the roommate to keep him quiet about what was on that server. Apparently there was also some CSAM material. And then we find out through the investigation of Stephan Sterns that he was filming Jennifer's roommate clandestinely without her knowledge. So those last few are good examples of voyeurism. He also did exhibitionism, where he would intentionally be seen naked by Madeline and Jennifer as he would come out of the bathroom and go, oops. It seems like this is something he's been doing all his life. Now, was he selling the material that he was collecting? What we're going to do is take a look at some of the comments that were made in the interrogations or interviews that were done in this case. And then we're going to take a look at some clips from a Washington Post article and some information that I found online, and I think another article. All right, so let's take a look at this information right now, and let's see what you guys think. And let's start off here with Chris and Debbie Sterns, who were on Hidden True Crime with Lauren and Dr. John.
But we later introduced it to scuba diving. We kept trying to introduce him to things that would be motivating enough to provide enough incentive to where maybe he would be motivated to go out and get a job and earn some money to pay for these things, because it didn't try to overindulge him with money and access to money per se. I was trying to use that as an incentive and motivation to go out and get a job.
So I think that shows that Stephan Sterns didn't have a lot of money. So then you want to know the answer to the question of how he was able to pay for various things and help Jennifer out.
All right. It's just surprising that somebody that was there during the death and probably responsible for it certainly participated and hasn't been arrested. In talking to Stephan, and obviously he's not telling us much because he's under the instructions of his attorney. But he said something kind of odd that we have been, my wife and I have been kind of kicking back and forth. And he made a statement that said, I didn't start it. Getting to the chase, I think they were involved in some sort of criminal enterprise. I think those photos on his phone, I think they were involved in some sort of criminal enterprise. Because there was money being spent, packages were arriving at our house, on a frequent basis. And when I brought Stephan home from Kissimmee at the end of November, to my knowledge, he had no money.
That's something that I was thinking early on as well, that it was some sort of money-making venture by Stephan Sterns. And, he's trying to include Jennifer in there, but he finds out that Jennifer is not involved, according to the detectives. The mother right here is about to bring up a different point about like how he was able to afford various things. Again, they want to always keep trying to include Jennifer to mitigate what their son has done, even though they've been told that Jennifer has nothing to do with it. But we are about to hear how Stephan Sterns seemed to have a lot of money.
Big question, the really big question out there, all of that stuff on the computer, all of that stuff on his phone, all of the money that was coming in by the handfuls, and the way they were spending it. Where did it come from? And could she, obviously she also participated in spending the money, so do you think she was at all culpable?
Very suspicious that there was some sort of enterprise going on, and of course the police won't tell us anything about that. That was one conversation or question I had with them, and it almost sounded like they acknowledged Stephan and eliminated Jen, but something definitely was going on, and I haven't been able to figure that out. But I feel there's something else out there.
So it's interesting that the father and the mother actually were very suspicious that there was some CSAM material that was being sold by Stephan Sterns, and that's why he's able to bring in so much money when he's either not working or works very little at Disney.
On a constant basis, when I asked him about, where the money was coming from, he said savings. Well, I can tell you that other than the inheritance he got from his father, which he blew through rather quickly, there was no.
So when they say inheritance from his father, that part's confusing to me. Just as a side note, people were saying that this father, Chris Sterns here, is just a stepdad, but then people say he's not the stepdad. Who is the father that he got an inheritance from? Was he talking about his own father, meaning his grandfather? I don't know.
Never been any savings. He never saved 2 nickels. So some money had to be coming somewhere. But his comment about I didn't start it got us wondering that maybe he was caught up in a criminal enterprise.
Now, yeah, so the thing is, I think it is very, very, very possible Stephan Sterns was caught up in a criminal enterprise, but the I didn't start it comment has nothing to do with starting a criminal enterprise. It has to do with him trying to shift blame of who started the sexual activities to Madeline. He's trying to insinuate that she's the one that started it. It's not his fault.
Jen and Jennifer was. And I don't know if you can collaborate that or not, but I just thought I'd share that. Sure.
Yeah, without getting too much into my investigation in the narrative, it did not appear to be that way, that they were working together.
Okay.
Because I will tell you this, we have spent months, thousands of hours, literally going line by line through his phone and her phone, and there is nothing to suggest that theory, that they were working together.
Could they be working independent?
Well, Stephan was working independent. I can tell you that, yes.
Okay, so he was involved in a criminal enterprise.
Well, I don't want to say criminal enterprise, but the stuff that was found on his phone pretty much painted the picture of the whole case.
That must have been very devastating by Chris Sterns to find out that his son is solely responsible for this, and that's what they've determined at this point. And the detective doesn't necessarily say it was a criminal enterprise that Stephan Sterns was involved in, but based on all the information that they found on his phone and other digital devices, they believe he's the one that's responsible.
Any reason to believe that Jennifer was aware or not aware of this going on?
We don't believe she was aware.
Anything prior to that with anybody else?
From Stephan or?
Yeah, Stephan, yeah.
Not that we know of.
Yeah, so they weren't able to find any other girls that Stephan Sterns had done this to as of the time of that interview, and that was in July. So that was, 4.5 months after Madeline Soto was killed. All right, now we're going to listen to a portion with Jennifer Soto, and I have this in here because I'm trying to show that I believe that Stephan Sterns was acting alone, and he was the one that was making the money out there on the internet. And I think you can get that from the words that Jennifer's saying and knowing what the detective said 4 months after this interview right here. This is back in March, and the one with Chris Sterns was done in July that we just listened to.
This topic, I never asked him if he directly. I never thought he could have. I always assumed the best in him. But I didn't ask him directly. I didn't even suspect that until you guys showed me that picture upstairs.
And Madeline and Stephan were set upstairs at 11.
Around 11.
11, okay.
At this point, I sent them. We have 2 bedrooms. We're a 4-bedroom townhouse, but there's a bedroom and a guest bedroom.
Okay.
I sent them upstairs to the guest bedroom because I had not slept well the night before. I had forgotten my psychiatric meds and I was feeling off. I was not feeling okay. So when I got home from work, I said, guys, I need a good night's sleep. They all wanted to sleep in my bed, all 3 of us together.
Okay. Is that normal?
Yeah, for us to do that, yeah.
Okay.
It's so abnormal and not myself Sunday while I was at work. Everyone at work noticed I was acting different and not being myself. Like I couldn't smile in front of the guests. I felt this wave of depression that I hadn't felt in years. It was my bipolar symptoms coming up again that I've been medicating myself for all this time. I realized I forgot to take my meds and I said, you guys, I need a good night's sleep. I need to take my meds. I sent them to sleep upstairs in the guest bedroom so that I could get a good night's sleep. Suggested that we all sleep together in the same bed together, but not the easiest person to sleep with. She rolls around, she punches, she kicks. We have a king size.
It's kind of sad right there because she said that Madeline suggested that they all sleep together, and I'm wondering if Madeline, was scared of Stephan Sterns and knew what he might be doing. But again, she never came forward. Now, there's people saying that they're angry with Jennifer because that she didn't trust Jennifer enough to tell her stuff, but Madeline never told anybody. She didn't tell a soul, and that's all part of the grooming process, the threats and so forth. All right.
His bed, and she typically sleeps on one side, and she'll end up on my side when we wake up.
Okay.
So I asked her, I'm like, no, please, I need a good night's sleep. If you guys can go upstairs and let me sleep. I had asked Stephan to take her to school in the morning.
All right, so that last portion there was just to serve and sort of help prove the fact that it's just Stephan Sterns acting alone, and to show that Madeline and Stephan were sent upstairs at around 11 p.m. So keep that in mind. Now let's take a look at some clips from the Washington Post article. And this is about online predators, specifically a particular group online. But it says Telegram, an app that includes group chats and has more than 800 million monthly users, allows for fully encrypted communication, a feature that protects privacy but makes moderation more challenging. Telegram delegates most moderation to leaders of groups on the platform, intervening in some instances when posts violate its policies. On Telegram, members of these groups post child pornography videos of corpse desecration and images of cuts they have made children inflict on themselves, according to victims, and an examination of messages. In chat groups with as many as 5,000 members, they brag about their abusive acts and goad each other on. They share tips on where to find girls with eating disorders and other vulnerabilities congregating online, and on how to manipulate them. In a group chat on Telegram this past April, one such member wrote that he had obtained an 18-minute video of a minor engaging in sexual acts. He wrote that she was the 14th girl this month. In a statement, Telegram did not respond to detailed questions about this network, but said it removes millions of pieces of harmful content each day through a proactive monitoring of public parts of the platform and user reports. Child abuse and calls to violence are explicitly forbidden by Telegram's terms of service, said Remy Vaughn, a Telegram spokesperson. Telegram has moderated harmful content on our platform since its creation. After reporters sought comment, Telegram shut down dozens of groups the consortium identified as communication hubs for the network. This is the CSAM network. So why did it take somebody having to, say, hey, we want to interview about this, and then boom, they shut them down? That means that they were probably aware of them prior. The Post reviewed a video of the girl that was still circulating on Telegram last year, a recording of a live stream on the 764 Discord server. So that 764 Discord server is one that's heavily into the CSAM material and absolutely persuading girls and coercing them to do certain things. The girl holds the family hamster in one hand and a razor blade in the other as three males berate her. "Bite the head off, or I'll F up your life," a male with the screen name Felix yells as she sobs. "Stop crying," says another male. The Discord groups often have parallel channels on Telegram where members exchange tips on how to avoid Discord bans and groom victims. They boast about their exploitation, posting photos of victims with their screen names cut into their bodies. They also share screenshots of their exchanges with victims, such as the one posted to Telegram channel in January. "You don't want that photo posted anywhere, right?" OFC, I don't, but I don't want to cut sign for you neither. "Do you really think you're given a choice? Okay, but why me, bruh? I didn't do anything. You're going to do something for me, cutting or not. Can't you find someone else, please?" No. A how-to guide circulated on Telegram offers tips on how to groom girls who are emotionally weak or vulnerable. The Post and its partners also found several video recordings on Telegram of victims being abused on Discord, including the Oklahoma girl and others who had carved usernames and group names into their bodies. Some users on Telegram noted that Discord had stepped up its enforcement in the past year and said that it was more difficult to stay on the platform. All right, so there's the reference to Telegram, and it was in the Washington Post article. And I'll put the Washington Post article in the description. It's a long article, very interesting. Early on in this case, an individual online came across this. There's a website where you can search and where people have been, etc., on social media. And they came up with this right here. Now, they contacted me and we verified it because that time code right there, the 44905, we weren't sure if that was the local time of Stephan Sterns or is that just a standard time like GMT time, something like that. And it turns out that's exactly what it is. That time never changed. So the person I was communicating with lives like 3 or 4 time zones away from me, and they have the same time that I got using the same app. So it was 44905 GMT time, but if you account for the 5 hours off, it's -5. You have to take off 5 hours, and it makes it 11:49 p.m. on the 25th. So see how it says the 26th right there? It's actually 11:49 on the 25th, and that's the night of the party, and that's the night that they were sent upstairs. Remember, they went upstairs at 11. And look at this, at 11:49 p.m., just 49 minutes later or so after they were sent upstairs, Stephan Sterns and Madeline, Stephan Sterns is on Telegram. And what is he doing on Telegram? Is he selling CSAM material? Is he creating a live stream video for those individuals on the encrypted account? Now, we don't know, but you have to admit that the fact that he's on Telegram, sort of a little known, little used app, it's becoming bigger now. During the October 7th attack by Hamas, a lot of the videos that were recorded by Hamas were put out there by, I think, the IDF, put out there so people could see them. So obviously it's a place where videos are shared, but the person who uploads them are protected, and everything's encrypted. And I'm just thinking that there's a very strong possibility that Stephan Sterns was using Telegram or other online areas, maybe even a Dropbox somewhere, where he was selling and trading some CSAM material. He got his money somehow, right? And there was something else I was wondering is, did Stephan Sterns give up the goods on other predators in the area? I thought this was interesting. So on August 30th, Kissimmee woman indicted for distributing, receiving, and possessing child sexual abuse material. Orlando, Florida, United States Attorney Roger B. Hamburg announces the return of an indictment charging Jessica Corinne Mangano, 34 years old, living in St. Cloud, with 2 counts of distributing, 2 counts of receiving, and 1 count of possessing child sexual assault material. According to the indictment, on July 2nd, 2024, Mangano distributed multiple videos that contained CSAM. On July 14th and August 2nd, 2024, Mangano received videos that contained CSAM. Finally, on August 15th, 2024, Mangano possessed CSAM material that involved a young child and a child who had not attained 12 years of age. All right, now, don't you find that interesting? She lives in the Kissimmee area, and she was arrested in St. Cloud. And if you remember, that's where Stephan Sterns put Madeline's body. That was in St. Cloud. It's also where these other predators lived in St. Cloud that were talked about early on in the Smurf house. So it's interesting. Kissimmee, St. Cloud. You have this arrest, and I think there's other arrests that I also was observing in the area. And you just kind of wonder, did investigating Stephan Sterns lead to the breakup of a larger network? Now, she actually has a YouTube channel, but there's nothing on it. That's her right there, Jessica Mangano. And this is a picture of her right there. Real looker there, she is. But another online predator in the same area. There's multiple others out there, and the reason I was interested in her is after looking her up, you can see that she too was on Telegram. And last seen on 7/25, and in that article, remember it was back in July that she was trading this material, and there she is right there on Telegram. So I don't know, I think it's very likely that Stephan Sterns was trading and selling CSAM material online, and I think he was making money off of the CSAM material specifically that he created with Madeline, and that's how he was able to obtain money. I think him working at Disney World was just a ruse so he could pretend that he was bringing in money from another source. It's almost like he was laundering the money, psychologically. Hey, everybody, I'm working over here at Disney World, that's how I'm getting this money. But there's no way you can make that kind of money doing what he was doing. And apparently he skipped out on work quite a bit. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. I think there really is something to this. I guess we'll find this out later. They might not say anything though, because anybody that may have received information from him might go dark if they knew that he was actually giving up information. It's about the only bargaining chip that he has to avoid the death penalty, is that maybe he can give up the names of other predators out there. But I wouldn't make a deal with a guy like Stephan Sterns. He's an absolute barbarian. All right, everybody. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'd appreciate it. And if you could hit that like button, that would be great too. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.